ﷺ, that a man came to the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, إن شرائع الإسلام قد كثر علي فأخبرني بشيء أتشبث به. The rules and the regulations in Islam and all the good deeds. All these good deeds, right? There's too many of them.
There's too many. I can't do it.
I can't do all of these. Man. There's too many. I can't filter any of this stuff. There's too many. But give me one in which I can hold on to. Just one of these good deeds.
Subhanallah.
Right? You know what he said? What the Prophet ﷺ said? He said, لا يزال لسانك رطبا من ذكر الله. He said, your tongue, let your tongue, let remembrance of Allah be on the tip of your tongue at all times. And look at the word that the Prophet ﷺ used. رطبا. What does that mean? Don't keep your mouth dry. You want to keep your mouth
moist,
fresh?
Yeah.
Right? You want to keep it fresh?
Yeah.
Keep the remembrance of Allah on the tip of your tongue.
SubhanAllah.
بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله مصليا على محمد وآله ومن تلا. Welcome everybody to Deen Love. Here your brothers trying to create some type of benefit, inshallah ta'ala. وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. That's the relationship between the believers. We have to help each other in goodness and in piety and in the things that get us near to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the vision of Deen Love, Hubbud Deen. We love the Deen because that's the source of life, fi dunya wa fil akhirah. So inshallah ta'ala we have this beautiful series going on, Good Deeds. Inshallah ta'ala we have today our honorable guest, Ustadh Abdullahi Bihi, graduate of the Islamic University of Medina, local here in the Twin Cities area. MashaAllah ta'ala. So inshallah ta'ala we'll get going. Today's good deed, the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Such an amazing topic. Probably the core of the believer's life is the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? The center of Iman is the remembrance of Allah ta'ala. Because if you forget about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, subhanAllah, there's huge consequences that are at stake, and your relationship with Allah is at stake. So today, inshallah ta'ala, we're going to dive into the remembrance of Allah. Ustadh Abdullahi Bihi. Ustadh Abdullahi Bihi, the status of the remembrance of Allah in Islam.
So before we get into the status, a lot of times we are alive, but in a sense, we're dead.
SubhanAllah.
Inside, we're empty. Yeah. Right? Our souls are not there. Our bodies are working, we're going to do everything, but our souls, we're just not feeling anything. And Ibn al-Qayyim, rahimahullah, he narrates from his Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, that he once said, الذكر للقلب كالماء للسمك فكيف يكون حال السمك إذا فارق الماء. He says that remembering Allah to the soul is like water to fish. What will happen to the fish if you take it out of the ocean? If you take it out of the water?
It's done.
Right?
It'll be gone immediately.
Done. The same thing.
Yeah.
Our souls, gets weaker until we are dead. That's why they say 7 days without prayer makes 1 week. I don't know about the number of days, but there's an element of truth to that.
That is.
You don't pray, you're not remembering Allah, you become weaker. Next thing you know, you are dead.
Yeah.
And the Prophet ﷺ actually attested to this. He says in a hadith narrated by both Bukhari and Muslim, a hadith narrated by Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, the great companion. He said that the Prophet ﷺ said, مثل الذي يذكر ربه والذي لا يذكر ربه مثل الحي والميت. He says that the likes of the one who remembers Allah and the one who doesn't remember Allah is like somebody who's alive and somebody who's dead. So the primary difference between somebody who's alive,
tough,
to his soul, and dead is the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's that shows the status of remembrance of Allah in our religion. Yeah.
So where does that lead to, Ustadh? If somebody remembers Allah, what are the fruits that come out of it?
The fruits of it. Ibn al-Qayyim, we just mentioned a quote of a sheikh that he mentioned. He mentions actually more than 100 benefits.
SubhanAllah.
SubhanAllah. In a book, he wrote a book called Al-Wabil al-Sayyib min al-Kalim al-Tayyib. I believe it's translated into English language. Yeah. Every Muslim should read this book. Right, along with a book written by a Nawawi called Al-Athkar. Great books. So anyways, many benefits. I'll share with you a story that Ibn al-Qayyim talks about his own Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. He said, one day after Fajr, he sat down. He had no book, no nothing with him. He just sat down until mid-morning. After, when mid-morning arrived, he turned to Ibn al-Qayyim and he told him, I was remembering Allah this whole time. You talk about several hours, right? I was remembering Allah this entire time.
SubhanAllah.
And this is my meal of the day. If I don't do this, it's my energy. It's the thing that keeps me going.
Yeah.
Right? In terms of my daily activities, everything that's like, this is what keeps me going. This is my motor. Right? So one of the benefits is that your soul is alive, and then it keeps you going in life. You don't feel empty inside.
SubhanAllah.
Right? So you can live life normally. So many benefits. Obviously, we don't have the time to encompass anything. But many benefits. You get closer to Allah. You know, it prevents you from committing sins, falling into errors. You know,
somebody who constantly remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I mean, what are the chances of them falling into? I mean, they'll have shortcomings, but sins constantly.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. You know what I'm saying? And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about the righteous people, what did He say? He said, وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ ذَكَرُوا اللَّهِ.
Subhanallah.
Righteous people. You know, all of us are going to commit sins.
Yeah.
We're going to fall into errors.
Yeah.
It's the nature of human beings.
Yeah.
Right?
SubhanAllah.
But what is the first thing that will prevent? What is the first thing they do? They remember Allah. You know, they fall, they trip, but then they still, it's in their system, it's in their DNA. Remembering Allah somewhere, some way. You know what I mean? So it prevents them from doing other sins. It prevents them from crossing the limits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
SubhanAllah.
So that's what it'll do. And the flip side of that is that it'll lead you to do other good things.
That's true.
It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
You remember Allah, you're going to do more good actions. And so on and so forth. So there are many benefits and virtues to doing dhikr.
What can help somebody in remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What tools does somebody need to have in order for them to constantly be in contact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
Well, there are many things that can help out, but I always stress this, especially where we're living in, is the environment.
Huge.
Your friends.
Huge.
The people that you hang around, the people that you spend time with.
It's huge.
Right? If the people that you spend time with are talking about, matters that don't gossiping and doing other stuff, whatever, obviously that's not going to help you remember Allah.
No way.
Right?
Yeah.
Abdullahi Bihi, you know what he says? Talking about gossiping, he says, ذِكْرُ اللَّهِ دَوَاء وَذِكْرُ النَّاسِ دَاء. He says that the remembrance of Allah is a remedy. The remembrance of people, always talking about people, he said, she said, fulan and fulan, that's actually what? That's a malady, right? That's like giving yourself poison, right? And remembering Allah, what does it do? It's actually a cure. So obviously surround yourself in a good environment, that's key, right? Yeah. And Al-Hasan al-Basri, he used to say, I love my brothers for the sake of Allah, because they always remind me of Allah. Right? Sometimes, other people, they may be relatives, family members, other people that you work with, go to school with, they might not remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but other people will. So surrounding yourself with people that remind you of Allah, that's one of the great factors. That's very key. Yeah. And there are others, but I think that's the main one. Yeah.
So what's at stake is that if somebody has a weak remembrance of Allah, or they forget about Allah, Nasullah fanasiyahu, that type of path, where does it lead to? The lack of remembrance of Allah.
Yeah, we spoke about it earlier.
Yeah.
What does it do?
Kills.
It kills you. You're dead. Yeah. The Prophet ﷺ is you're somebody who's dead. You're not alive. Yeah, you're alive with your body, but your soul is dead. Yeah. So that's what at stake. Everybody's trying to stay alive, right? Yeah. Stay above the ocean. You're right. Yeah. But you're already drowned. You're dead. So obviously that's at stake. And what's at stake as well is that you not remembering Allah will get you off the slope. Yep. You fall and trip even longer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're gonna fall down harder and harder and harder, and the longer you fall, the harder it's gonna be to get back up and climb up. Yeah. Right. So that's some of the things that are at stake.
Subhanallah. So what's the reward for somebody who always remembered Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fil akhirah stat? Where does that person? What's their status in akhirah?
their status in akhirah great status. وَالذَّاكِرِينَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا وَالذَّاكِرَاتِ أَعَدَّ اللَّهُ لَهُم مَغْفِرَةً وَأَجْرًا عَظِيمًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in that ayah in Surah Ahzab, right? He mentions all of these different characteristics and attributes, right? Yeah. And the last one is وَالذَّاكِرِينَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا وَالذَّاكِرَاتِ. Females and males who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly, right? And there's a hadith collected by Imam al-Tirmidhi من حديث عبد الله بن بسر رضي الله تعالى عنه أن رجلا جاء إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, that a man came to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم and he said إن شرائع الإسلام قد كثر علي. فأخبرني بشيء أتشبث به. The rules and the regulations in Islam and all the good deeds. All these good deeds, right? There's too many of them.
There's too many. I can't do it.
I can't do all of these. Man. There's too many. I can't filter any of this stuff. There's too many. But give me one in which I could hold on to. Just one of these good deeds.
Subhanallah.
Right? You know what he said? What the Prophet said? He said, لا يزال لسانك رطبا من ذكر الله. He said, your tongue, let your tongue, let remembrance of Allah be on the tip of your tongue at all times. And look at the word that the Prophet used, رطبا. What does that mean? Don't keep your mouth dry. You want to keep your mouth
moist,
fresh?
Yeah.
Right? You want to keep it fresh?
Yeah.
Keep the remembrance of Allah on the tip of your tongue.
SubhanAllah.
So, that's something really important, being remembering Allah often. It's something very easy, it's not hard.
It's not hard.
It's not very hard,
SubhanAllah. The remembrance of Allah, Ustadh, how can I remember Allah? What are some of the different key ways? Is it reading Quran? Is it so on and so forth?
Yeah.
What are the different ways? Yeah.
Obviously, the remembrance of Allah comes in many different forms.
Yeah.
Saying Subhanallah, saying Astaghfirullah, saying, Alhamdulillah Akbar is one way. Reading Quran is another way. Praying is another way. Seeking knowledge is another way. Many different forms of remembrance. Right? So it's something that is wasi'. The door of it is wide open.
Yeah.
Anything that will lead you to remembering Allah, that's considered dhikr.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So many different forms.
Yeah.
And, alhamdulillah, this is from the mercy of Allah that Allah has opened this door for us.
So as a student of knowledge, how have you, what are your thoughts in the remembrance of Allah in regards to a student of knowledge?
Remembrance of Allah in regards to student of knowledge. It's acting upon the knowledge that we get, what I'm saying. Obviously, the majority of our time is spent seeking knowledge, right? Somebody who embarks on a journey of seeking knowledge. So a lot of times acting upon that knowledge is kind of left off. So we try our best. We should all try our best and strive to actually act upon the knowledge that we receive. Even though seeking knowledge in and itself is a form of remembrance, right? As the Prophet ﷺ, he mentions us in numerous ahadith. But acting upon it, that kind of gets lost in the picture. So acting upon knowledge is key. It's key. Act upon it. Whether it's reading Quran, whether it's prayer, whether it's making dua, etc.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah.
Inshallah, what is your best advice, Ustadh, in regards to the remembrance of Allah? What can we give to our young brothers and sisters out there and our parents and everybody out there, inshallah ta'ala? What's the best advice we can give them in regards to the remembrance of Allah?
I think good advice would be, start somewhere, right? A lot of times, we do many different things and we're not consistent. So start somewhere, very small, and just build on that. Something very small, even if it means don't do anything extra. Subhanallah, saying Subhanallah 10 times a day. Start with that. Move up the ranks, whatever it may be. Just choose a form of remembrance, and then inshallah
stick to that.
Yeah. That's what I would say.
Inshallah. Take that advice, the remembrance of Allah, the value, and it is, I think, the lifeline of the believer to always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many different platforms and different ways to do it, as Ustadh has said, reading Quran, becoming a student of knowledge, which is key, which is why we love to have the students of knowledge here on Deen Love, because they are the future, inshallah ta'ala. So the remembrance of Allah is key. We have to stay, in order to stay alive, Ustadh, what do we have to do?
You gotta remember Allah.
Remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we'll leave you with those good words, inshallah. Till next time. Sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiina wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.
بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن بإسلامي